Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Hey everyone, welcome to my first adventure. It all began in our tiny studio in Vienna. We wanted to crash there before catching our early morning flight. What we didn't expect though was a DJ entering the studio at around 11 PM recording his late night set.
Two hours later.
After just 2 hours of sleep, we had to drag ourselves out of bed and head to the airport. The flight itself was smooth, I mean really smooth. I had an entire row to myself, it was like flying first class. After a short bus ride from the airport, we made it to Sevilla, where we decided to explore the city with our cameras.
Several bad puns later.
On the go, we managed to score a BlaBlaCar all the way to Conil, which meant we could skip the bus. Once we arrived in Conil, the first thing we did was run straight to the beach. You know that feeling when you finally touch sand after months of being landlocked? We couldn't help but just soak it all in. Our first sunset vibes, unmatched. A bit later, my good friend Felix picked us up and we went for drinks in a local bar. Now here's the catch. Our initial plan was to go on a surf trip, but there are no waves. The forecast has changed and now it was going to be flat the whole week. Apparently we had to come up with other activities. But that's the beauty of traveling, right? The unpredictability and the thrill of not knowing what's coming next.
Day 2.
Day 2 kicked off with morning yoga led by Felix's amazing girlfriend Sophia. We then jumped on bikes for an adventure to a nearby surf town. Sounds cool, right? Well, we were literally rolling on flat tires.
Last Sunday.
We explored an old bunker on the beach and enjoyed some time chilling in the sun.
It's over, it's all we get. Now your eyes are feeling sad. You met someone.
After, we still managed to squeeze in a spontaneous photo shoot with a surfer girl, which was a total vibe.
You just pass me by. Later.
The end of the day was a sunset hike in a nearby national park, and let me tell you, the trees were wild. They looked like broccoli. Kinda reminded me of an anime I watched recently.
falls ich sterbe, lieg ich unter deiner Erde, Baby. Es ist so schön mit dir.
The next day we took a 1-hour drive to Cadiz, where we ended up at this amazing indoor skate park. We had the whole place to ourselves, which was amazing. Sophia had her first experience riding a bowl and she nailed it. As the sun started to set, Michelle got some epic drone shots of the coastline and the nearby lighthouse, while we got eaten alive by mosquitoes.
One hour later.
We rounded off the day with the best pizza I have eaten in ages. Seriously? This place was a game changer.
Day 4.
Day 4 started with a photo shoot on the beach because Sophia needed some content for her new podcast, and honestly it was a perfect setting. We even managed to squeeze in a little surf session before heading back to prepare a party at Felix's house that night. But here is where things got interesting. Our BlaBlaCar to Granada? Cancelled. Public bus? Super complicated. What do we do when all else fails? Yep, hitchhike.
Das ist unser erster Tramping-Versuch. Und wir stehen hier seit ein paar Sekunden und jetzt schauen wir, wie lange das dauert.
A few moments later. One eternity later. 3 weeks later.
The first lady who picked us up was named Ingrid. She dropped us off in the next town and we almost forgot our sign, which basically would have ruined everything.
'Eventually.
After about 1 hour of standing by the side of the road, we finally got our second ride from Melanie, an Italian girl. She is currently living her best life, living in a van, traveling around and learning how to kitesurf. She dropped us off in Tarifa, where the wind almost blew us away, but at least we were one step closer.
Minutes later.
Then Murat, a construction worker from a nearby town, gave us a ride to Algeciras. After around 4 to 5 hours of hitchhiking and holding up cardboard signs, we were starving, so we decided to treat ourselves and eat in a restaurant. We made around 1/5 of our way to Granada and the hope was beginning to fade.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
But just as I thought we were out of luck, we met Adri, our savior, the MVP. She picked us up and drove us the entire way to Granada, taking a 1-hour detour just to help us out. We couldn't believe it. I think we were all convinced we had just made a new friend. The next morning we explored Granada, which by the way is so beautiful. Michelle had once lived here, so I had a personal tour guide and we covered all the best spots. Unfortunately, we only had one day to explore the city. We ended the day with a hike at sunset, where the view over the city was absolutely stunning. As the night rolled in, we met up with one of Michelle's old friends, who was a local and used to live in a cave, and he invited us on a spontaneous adventure. What was the plan? Hot springs. Yep, that's right. After an exhausting few days of travel, we ended the evening in natural hot springs, soaked in the warm waters under the starry sky. And that, my friends, is how you turn chaos into adventure. I've been traveling a lot over the past few years, but this trip in particular felt truly special. In a world that moves faster every day, it's easy to forget what really matters. Connecting with the people around us, embracing the unknown, taking risks, and living in the moment. Stepping outside of our comfort zone can open doors to incredible adventures. Adventures that remind us what it truly means to be alive. Like Michelle, who joined the trip even though we just met 5 days before. Or the BlaBlaCar that cancelled on us last minute. 4 cars, 363 kilometers and 10 hours of laughter and conversation later, we still made our way to Granada. We felt so welcomed by the kindness of strangers, and as we reflect on our journey through Spain, we realized the true magic was not in the places we visited, but in the people we met along the way. Every person has a story to tell. Sometimes we just need to take a moment to listen. Like Adri, who used to hitchhike herself and was inspired to take us along. It turns out Adri and Michelle once lived in the same street, went to the same bars and lived the same life in Granada just 10 years apart. Or Simon, who plays his guitar every day on the narrow streets of Granada. He doesn't even own a phone. He said he doesn't need pictures of himself because he prefers to see them in the smiles of others. Stories like these can add real value to our lives and shape how we see the world. We continued to write our own story on this trip. Sometimes, the best stories are the ones you never saw coming.